Hello and welcome to Conversations with the Mayor, a series of meetings that the mayor had set up earlier this year as part of his initiatives to promote better communication between City Hall and the government in general and the citizens of Revere. Mayor Rizzo, welcome once again.
Always a pleasure to see you, Ed.
It's always a pleasure too. And we are now into the fall. And come the fall season, you think of October, Columbus Day, and pumpkins and everything else, but in particular, Columbus Day. And part of our conversation today will be focusing on the Columbus Day Parade, which we're planning to bring back next year.
Absolutely. This is very, very exciting. You know, we do an awful lot of things in City Hall, as you're aware of, and as many people are aware of. You know, there's day-to-day activities that are always going to be there, but there's some activities that you deal with that are more fun than others. And the Columbus Day Parade, for a lot of people, particularly for children, you know, has always been a staple, a signature event for the city of Revere that, unfortunately, due to budget cuts 4 or 5 years ago, we had to do away with. So we started having conversations with different people in different corners of the city. And we realized really how important of an event that it is to a lot of people. Mm-hmm. So we started discussing ways on maybe how we could bring the parade back. And so one thing led to another thing to another thing. There was enough interested volunteers that said, listen, why don't we go out? We'll try to maybe obtain corporate sponsorships, donations from businesses, private citizens, and then see where we lie. And I made the decision and the financial commitment on the city's behalf that, you know, we'll do everything that we possibly can to raise as much money as we can to fully support the event, but to make up whatever difference, whatever void that might be left that would need to be filled in order to have the parade. So our goal is to have the parade not this Columbus Day, unfortunately, in as much as I would have liked to, but next October we're fully committed to having a parade. And I think that's going to be, you know, a welcomed, I guess I'll call it a change, mm-hmm. That, you know, people will once again be able to enjoy. So,
and I think part of the planning for this, if I'm not mistaken, is the fact that, of course, East Boston does the Columbus Day Parade, or if I remember it, Boston alternates between East Boston and Southie, I think, with the Columbus Day Parade. This year was the East Boston end, if you will, and next year it'll be in Southie, so therefore we do it in Revere. Was that the thinking behind it?
Well, you know, like that's the plan, but, you know, as far back as I can remember, I mean, we would have our Columbus Day Parade annually, so depending upon the city's finances, you know, there's a lot of variables here. Not to revert back to an earlier topic that you and I talked about, mm-hmm. but there's still casino mitigation that we're talking about. I mean, depending upon what the financial future of the city is, will better determine how often we can have our Columbus Day Parade. But we had become accustomed to having it annually.
Okay.
And so obviously that's a goal. It's a lofty goal. If things work out, great. But at bare minimum, I'd like to see the parade brought back. Maybe on an alternating schedule with East Boston.
East Boston. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Now, in the planning for it, of course, you know, it's a huge event, and there's a lot to plan for it, and of course, you need to put together committees and so forth. Who are the people that are actually, besides yourself and people within City Hall, involved in the actual planning and management of the whole thing?
Well, Nick Bua has really taken he's our Veterans Affairs agent,
uh-huh.
and he's taken a large role in kind of spearheading this. But he's had an awful lot of help, and I know I'm going to miss people. So rather than go down a slippery slope
yep.
and start naming names, although there are a couple that jump out at me, Bob Upton and Laurie D'Amico, you know, from the Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber of Commerce wants to get very, very involved. We received a $2,500 donation from East Boston Savings Bank, you know, which obviously, you know, that kind of
mm-hmm.
started us a little bit. I think we're up actually to close to $8,000 in money
wow.
raised so far.
That's great.
So, you know, the parade in and of itself costs about $50,000 or $60,000 to put on. So, but to have $8,000 in the bank
mm-hmm.
right now of money that's been raised outside of the city coffers is a great thing for for Stade.
And I know people are pretty excited about it. I actually, during Labor Day cookout, there was a gentleman approached me who was with the Boston Crusaders Senior Drum and Bugle Corps. So these are seniors who have been with the Corps back in their day, if you will, and are still marching. They're looking forward to participating in it, and I've passed their name along to the organizers. So that should be pretty exciting.
Oh, very exciting. I mean, to hear things like that, really, it's exciting to me as the mayor, because this is a parade that, I mean, up until the last couple of years that the city had the parade, it was always extremely well attended, and so many different local organizations really made a day of it. You always had at the towards the tail end of the parade at the Soccorso Club, they always had their outdoor barbecue, and you'd have literally hundreds of people down there. Then you had the Matola Post down there, and I know Maggio's restaurant, when they were open, would have a ton of people back to there. It was really a true community event, and people really looked forward to it. And really, it was a great thing for kids. I mean, there's that old adage, who doesn't love a parade, but really, when you think about it, I mean, it brings the community together, and I really think it's a fun thing for kids. Minus the kids running around with the shaving cream and the silly string and all the other stuff, which we got to keep a lid on. But to see all the kids, and I mean, let's face it. I mean, we all grew up. I'm sure that you have memories of being a kid yourself and being at a parade. So I just think. In the big scope of things, we talk about public education, public safety, finances. That goes without saying, as I started off saying. But this is a real quality of life issue that I look at, and so it's very, very exciting, and I'm grateful to all the people that are involved. I know even Revere TV is actively participating.
Very much looking forward to it.
And so it's really going to be a great event. And to anybody who may be watching that is a participant and on this committee, really you have my thanks and appreciation, because it could it's obviously going to take an effort on behalf of a lot of people to get it rolling again, but. I think we're all going to be happy when we see the finished product. I really want this new kind of inaugural parade, so to speak, to really be one that everybody will be pleased with and everybody will enjoy. So,
and you mentioned memories as a kid growing up and going to parades. Of course, the thing you can always remember is just hearing that drum line of a drum and bugle corps or whatever coming down the street, and you hear those drums going away and the bugles, and it is just an incredible sound. It's unbelievable.
Well, I was talking to somebody the other day who had hooked up with the 27th Lancers, and they had some conversation. I mean, the Lancers has disbanded,
yes.
But I kind of threw a little thought out there. Well, why don't you see if you can get them to have a little mini reunion, which I think would be incredible if you could put something like that together.
Yeah, well, it would be like the seniors from the Crusaders, and speaking of the Lancers, and just to go back a little bit, and I think the last time I saw them perform was at a Super Bowl. You remember the Super Bowl?
Yeah,
when they performed at the
exactly.
Super Bowl? And I remember how they were introduced. They were a drum and bugle corps from a seaside resort called Revere, Massachusetts.
And I still like it being referred to as that.
Exactly. I said, that's great. I love it. The other part of a parade, of course, are floats. Are there any plans specifically for floats, or if people are thinking of creating floats?
Yeah, I mean, we've had floats in the past. I mean, I know the Chamber of Commerce has historically put a float in the parade. You've got, I think, some dance groups that have participated, some dance schools that will bring their students and, make up a float. So, I would suspect that we'll have floats in the parade. I'm going to leave that part probably to people much more knowledgeable in terms of, the logistics and how to put it all together. But as far as having floats in the parade, I would definitely anticipate that we would. This way here, you can get different groups that and it almost becomes, I don't want to call it a challenge, but they who wants to have the best looking float, right? So, I'm hopeful that that's going to take on a life of its own, and as you said, all of the marching bands and high school bands, and we're actually looking at some colleges and universities to participate. So it should be really, really fun. Should be really good.
Yeah, and you're thinking of leading. I don't know if he leads the parade or if he's in the middle of the parade, but Christopher Columbus himself. It's been a while since I've seen it, so I'm trying to remember where he was in the parade. But
right now that's the biggest decision. Who's Christopher Columbus here this year? This, for the next parade. So, but yes, Christopher Columbus will absolutely lead the parade down Broadway. So. No question about it.
Yeah, of course, in the Macy's, Santa Claus comes, but he's at the end. So in this one, Christopher Columbus is going to be in the front.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the Foro Colombo. Exactly.
Take us right back to 1492.
There you go. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, we'll have a little Pinta, Nina Pinta or whatever float.
And the Santa Maria.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So Nick Bua is heading up the committee. And they're going to be holding regular planning meetings, going through the year and all of that stuff. So if people are looking to maybe get involved, I know you already had a planning meeting about 2 weeks ago. I think was the first planning meeting for the event, and I'm assuming there will be others. If people are maybe interested in getting involved in planning for the event, they should contact Nick?
They should absolutely contact Nick, or if by chance they forget who to contact or forget, they can certainly contact our office. And, that number's obviously 781-286-8111. And we can direct them to Nick, or at least send an email off to Nick, take their name and, phone number or whatever, send that information off to Nick. I know Nick appreciates any volunteers that he can get, to help out with, with the different planning that's going to have to go into this program. So, yeah, absolutely.
And another one of your initiatives, the newsletter that comes out every month. I'm assuming you'll be providing updates and so forth in the newsletter.
Oh, definitely, definitely. In fact, I know that my chief of staff, Miles Lane Kennedy, he's been doing a great job putting together that newsletter. But one of the things, and I'm going to digress for a second, is that if any organizations or really any businesses that have any special event, I mean, we're not just going to say, 25% off at such and such, but if any businesses have like a special event coming up, like as an example, there's a new restaurant that opened up at the Old Wharf. It's called Pazzo Pecci, I think. But they're having, they have North Shore Acapella there, I think twice a month on a Wednesday. So I said, listen, contact my office. We'll put that.
You just struck a chord with me. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So, so I said, listen, we're not opposed to put that into our newsletter. It goes out to well over 1,000 people. And if people are so inclined on a Wednesday night to go down, or I think it's twice a month on a Wednesday, so I don't know.
Yeah,
but
I'll check it out.
But yeah, I said, we'd be more than happy to put it in the newsletter and send it off, because that, any way that the city can support our local business community, I think it's incumbent upon us to do that. So, use this as a resource. And the other thing that, to go back to your question about, information about the Columbus Day Parade, we will have ongoing information to any events. I know that I just received a phone call from somebody from the Sons of Italy that wanted to organize a golf tournament to support the event. So I'm sure when he gets all that, planned out, a date, a time, a place, and so on and so forth, we'll add that into our newsletter and try to obviously recruit sponsors and golfers. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a great resource. I know Beachmont Improvement Committee, one of the groups that I'm involved with, we've used it from time to time to identify the things that we have going. I see other organizations putting their information in there, so it's a fantastic resource and a good place for information. Yeah. But there's also going to be another event that's coming up fairly soon that will promote the parade, and that's the breakfast on Columbus Day, if I remember right.
Yes, and this is something that I would like to see become an annual breakfast. that would be twofold. Actually, maybe even threefold. I mean, one is obviously to raise money for the event. Two is to bring the community together a little bit more. I mean, it's something that I'm very, very passionate about, is trying to create this sense of inclusion and this feeling of community. It's really, really very, very important to me. So to have this Columbus Day breakfast, you know, and to also kind of play off of what they do in South Boston for their St. Patrick's Day parade. They really seem to have a great time with it. They have a lot of fun, and I think it actually builds support and interest in the parade, so to speak. So we have this year. It's going to be held at the Beachmont VFW at 9 a.m. on Columbus Day morning, which I believe is October 8th.
8th, yep.
And we've got a lot of people coming. If you're familiar with the format that they have at the St. Patrick's Day breakfast, they have Senator Hart, who presides over the event. And then they have everybody from city and state and government, kind of a who's who of who's involved at that time. This year, we're very, very lucky to have Congressman Markey, who's coming, Congressman Capuano, who's coming. You know, we've slanted it a little bit toward the Italian theme because of Columbus Day. So we have Mayor Menino, who's going to be attending from Boston. We've got a whole bunch of state senators. Senator Petrocelli, I know, is coming. Speaker of the House, Bob DeLeo, is attending and speaking. We've got other legislators from across the state who have been willing to attend and participate. We've got the state auditor, Suzanne Bump, the state treasurer, Steve Grossman. So we're going to have a really, really good lineup of speakers. And then we're also getting some support, which I'm very, very grateful for, from surrounding communities. I know the Everett City Council bought a table of 10, you know, so
Great.
It's great to have our neighbors help us out. And I'm sure that, we'll reciprocate, when the time comes. So, but it's going to be a great event. It's $25 a ticket. I think we can only sell up to 300 or 400. I don't know how much the Beachmont VFW can hold.
Well, I know in some events it's been 250 or whatever, but maybe they could squeeze in 300 or 400.
Well, we're going to open the back room, I think.
Oh,
has
okay.
been the plan.
And that will add more. Yes,
which will add more seating. But but that should raise a significant amount of money, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So,
wow.
So the creating the awareness, the building the community spirit, the raising the money, I think this is all, all things that, that the city is very much interested in. And this could actually turn into something really, really fun, because I believe Senator Hart has agreed to come and speak. So we can kind of have the Columbus Day / St. Patrick's Day rivalry going, which I think would be great.
Well,
so,
that will be great. And when you mentioned it, and I was thinking, the same thing about the St. Patrick's Day, where they do the little bit of roast and there's some singing or whatever. So instead of Irish songs, it could be Italian songs or whatever.
Exactly.
That could be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And what's really interesting about it too is the fact that it's just one more event that's kind of creating this buzz about the city, about how alive it is and exciting, actually.
Right. Well, that's any event that, again, paints the city in a positive light is an event that I'm going to be interested in.
Yeah.
And I know people like yourself and others who are actively involved in the community, that really, to me as mayor, it's so rewarding to see the numbers of people that have stepped up and taken roles in volunteer type positions. We've created several new committees, and all on a volunteer basis that has really, I think, sparked a lot of positive feelings in different corners of the city. And as I say, it's very gratifying to me to see, because it's what our goal was as we came into office back in January. So.
Yeah, and of course, in talking about the planning, and particularly in the city today, one of the things that probably needs to be discussed is the demographics of the city, because it's changed quite drastically, if you will, from the days of old when we first started doing Columbus Day parades, where it was predominantly Italian. Now we've got the mix. We've got Italian, Latino, Middle Eastern, and in the planners, are they working to bring in the other ethnicities, if you will, ethnic groups to the parade?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we've gone that far yet. In some ways, it's good we're not bringing it back this year, because it gives us a full year to, it's not, while it's a Columbus Day parade and it probably showcases the city's Italian heritage and so on and so forth, it really, as I alluded to earlier, is more of a community event, and it's a Revere event. It's a Revere signature event. And that's really the message here. So this gives us some time to get out there across the city, across all lines of, race, religion, color. We have to get the message out that this is a Revere event.
Yep.
And so I don't care where a child, where they come from, what their native land is, where they were before they got to Revere. I don't think there's a kid out there that really doesn't enjoy a parade. You see them standing there with the balloons, you see them standing there with the cotton candy, and they're watching these bands and different groups go by. I mean, we are going to have a job in front of us to get the word out that we encourage you to participate. We encourage you just to come so I think that we'll do a reasonably good job at that, and especially if we have the support that we've had so far in putting this together. So,
yeah, and as I said, I mean, in this day and age, that's always one of the challenges you face, is to try and make sure that you do it in such a way that it attracts more people, because that's what it is. You want the streets filled.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And so, okay, moving on from there, relative to the parade, any other groups or sponsors that
we have? A bunch of sponsors. As I said earlier, it's hard to name all of them who have already stepped up with a check, but I'm grateful to every sponsor so far who has made that contribution. Their names will absolutely be mentioned at some point, to publicly thank them, but there's been a lot of organizations and individuals who have stepped forward with a check, to support the city's efforts, but there are certainly sponsorship opportunities, and again, you can. I'm not sure if we have it yet on our website. If we don't, we should. But you can certainly call our office. Call the mayor's office, or get in touch with Nick Boer. I know that I'm sure future meetings will be publicized, and actually we should be publicizing them on the city's website, as well as our monthly newsletter. So anybody that's interested in supporting the event can absolutely find a way to do so by either, like I say, contacting our office or Nick Boer or any of the other options.
And of course, the other thing that I want to mention, and you were talking about earlier with the breakfast and the people who are going to be there. I mean, it's quite a large and notable contingent from, if you will, the State House and from the city of Boston and so forth. It's quite interesting to see that wide variety of people and notable people involved.
No, it's very exciting for us. I think a lot of these elected officials that they recognize how important of an event that it is to the city of Revere, and how important that it is to me as mayor, and they've really stepped up. As I say, our whole state delegation, from Representative Reinstein to Senator Petroselli to Speaker DeLeo, they've been extremely supportive, and I'm sure that we'll have a lot of fun. I'm sure they'll have a lot of fun with each other at the breakfast, similar to what we see on St. Patrick's Day. So that's really kind of the format that we're looking for. We're looking for people to have fun. This is not going to be about speeches and re-election campaigns. This is going to be about having fun. Talk, maybe, I don't care. There's kind of, no real rules. They can go after, talk about
Yeah.
each other, whatever it is, and just have some fun. I mean, really, all those people that I just mentioned have no problem entertaining audiences. And so
Yeah.
we expect several hundred people at this event. They're just, I mean, we're just going there, have some fun, let your hair down a little bit, and, again, build that community spirit up and create awareness for the event.
Yeah, it should be a great time, and the parade. Just looking forward to next October.
Yes.
When we're able to kick that off, and the drum major or whatever blows that whistle to start the parade.
Yeah,
It'll just
yeah.
be incredible. Just curious. I mean, have they worked out the route for what the parade will be? Will it be the old route, or is that?
I wouldn't anticipate any type of a diversion from the old route. The old route seemed to work. Unless there's a compelling reason to change it, I wouldn't change it. It's that's all part again for me. It's all part of the heritage and the nostalgia with that parade. I mean, it went down. Although I do think that there was a time, many years ago. I'm not sure how many people would remember, but it would actually, I think, go up Park Ave and down Washington Avenue and all
Well,
around the city.
I was trying to remember what the route was. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
I couldn't.
Yeah, I mean, it
the
used to
old
go. It used to. I mean, I try to think now. I mean, some of these people, they would have wore out a pair of shoes, I think, on the old route. But this route starts at the Casasa overpass. It goes down Broadway, takes a right onto Revere Street, and ends, just past where Maggio's restaurant used to be, a little bit further down. So.
Okay.
We'll start off with that, and if we find that that route isn't working, we'll look to make a change. But right now, that's the plan.
Well, that's great. Well, we're just about up with our time. Looking forward to our next conversation. Any topics in mind at this point?
Well, there's so much going on. I really don't know, Ed. I would leave that to you and the professionals here.
We'll have to-
you can. There's a whole host of things we're working on. With respect, as I say, with respect to economic development and city finance, and we've still got. I know we've already had conversation about the gaming, but that's still ongoing and could be coming to ahead very shortly.
I would imagine there'll be a lot more conversation coming up on that. Yes.
Yeah, so there's a wide-ranging, series of topics that I think we can talk about. But as always, I look forward to talking to you and really the people of Revere about things that are going on in the city. I appreciate the opportunity that you and Revere TV give me to bring this information out.
Looking forward to it. Till next month. Thank you. Take care.
Okay, you too.
Till next month. Thank you.